Our current president has used the term fake news recently. However, fake news is nothing new. It's hundreds of years old. In the 1890s, it was especially relevant in the form of yellow journalism. Yellow journalism got its start when two competing newspaper editors, William Randolph Hearst and Jacob Pulitzer, competed to sell more newspapers than the other. Their tactics included misleading headlines and sensationalized accounts of events in order to draw the reading public in to buy the newspapers. This yellow journalism reached its peak in 1898 when they began to cover the Cuban Revolution and struggle for independence. The two newspapers gave a one-sided account of events and ultimately ended up with the United States ship the Maine being sent to Havana. When the Maine exploded in what was, to all accounts, could have been a boiler leak, they decided to portray it as a deliberate act of sabotage by the Spanish. This, in turn, caused the public to call for war, and the Spanish-American War as we know it was begun. In all, 3,549 American soldiers were killed in the Spanish-American War, partly because of yellow journalism. Today, fake news still continues, but yellow journalism has been sent to the tabloids and clickbait, where anything is possible. Fake news, though, still lives on. In 2013, the World Economic Forum warned of digital wildfires or the spread of false news in the days of social media. 2016 proved this correct. There were over 1,000 fake news stories reported in regards to the United States presidential election. This has had an untold impact on our election for 2016. In a further note, the White Helmets, a humanitarian group which is oftentimes cited as a reliable source of news in war-torn Syria, has been shown to fictionalize accounts that cannot be corroborated by any photographic or aerial evidence whatsoever. While the White Helmets are not journalists, their supposed making up of some of these events is very concerning, to say the least, because their reports could have influenced our foreign policy with countries such as Iran, Russia, or Syria. Fake news is a real problem. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. An MIT study that showed that between three groups of people, one group having no knowledge of fake news and being entirely susceptible to it, another group which knew what fake news was and would try to combat it, and a third group which knew what fake news was and could completely discern between real and fake, a control group, showed that the second group that knew of fake news and tried to actively combat it were somewhat successful at repelling it and not being swayed by it. However, how many people and how many citizens and how many of us are part of this second group? It's up to us. We all need to fight fake news.